Hello, welcome to Rambus Design Summit. My name is Frank Farrow. I'm the Senior Director of Product Management for Rambus Physical Layer IP. That includes both memory and SerDes IP. Today, I'm going to be focusing a bit more on our SerDes in particular, and as it relates to the 5G technology. Before I start, I just want to remind you, if you have any questions, please enter them into the pop-up. And we'll do our best to try to answer those as they come in. So 5G, what is 5G? What's the goal of 5G? So you've probably heard about 5G for a long time. It actually rolled out in 2019. So it seems like it's been around forever, but the reality is 5G is just in its early adoption and infancy. So the goal of 5G is to give the user a much more seamless experience. In other words, to try to mimic the wired network. So you've gotten used to certain speeds and response times and latencies with wired networks, and the goal is really to move seamlessly between that wire and wireless world. Now, 4G has been out since 2010. 4G LTE. That's what most of us are using now, and it's a pretty good user experience, and it's a primarily experience with our phone, and we get good response times. But as with the growth of the data, there's many more connected devices there. There's more information we need. It's continuing to stress the network and slow down our experience. So 5G's goal is to really to try to improve the performance of the network. So if I do this build here, we can look a little bit about some of the performance enhancements you're going to see as you're moving from 4G to 5G. So the biggest one, of course, is the higher throughput. 10x higher throughput, meaning with 4G networks, you were around 1 gig of data. Now you're moving up into significantly higher data, depending on, again, the data rates are going to be, it offers a performance of 20 gig, but your actual, data rate's going to be how far you're from the base station and the type of network you're on. So your averages are going to vary, but the bottom line is you're going to get significantly higher throughput as you're going into a 5G network. The other thing is a much higher capacity. In other words, with all the data, these networks are now going to be handling, excuse me, the 5G networks are going to be handling exabytes of data per month. And so, having the network being able to manage that level of data with all these devices is going to be very important. The other thing is response time, right? You look at your phone, you want immediate gratification. And so you're going to see a much quicker response time with reduced latency, down to like 1 millisecond is the goal for 5G. And the other thing is you have many more connected devices. So you're going to see significant increase in the density of how many devices can be handled. So again, talking about numbers that are significantly higher per kilometer square. So you're going to be able to have many more devices connected. It's going to be faster. It's going to have a much nicer user experience. And the other thing, it's going to now enable a lot of applications that just couldn't work before with a wireless connection, because these greater speeds, density is going to enable things that we can do, and we'll talk about those coming up. The other thing is, if you look at the 4G network, most of us just use the network for our phone, but as we're moving into 5G, the connections, the non-phone connections are going to start to overtake the phone connections in the network. So what are some of the use cases that I was kind of talking about? So if you look across, you're going to have multiple different kinds of interactions with 5G. Both person to person, or human to person to machine, or machine to machine. And if you look, you're going to have much more improved experience with things like video calling or virtual meetings, which you've all been using quite a bit, over the last couple of years. Things like fixed wireless. Now that the speeds are improved, if you can't get good coverage in your area. You know, sometimes the wireless network will actually be faster than various wireline options as well. Same thing, we're going to expect, you know, a better video experience. And then even if you go all the way on the far right here, you can see from a machine to machine, you're going to have more mobile computing in the cloud. So with the 5G is starting to blur kind of the, you know, you think about you have your cloud, you have your edge, you have your network, you have your all these endpoints in the network we're talking about. But what 5G is enabling is much smarter edge. And I actually gave a talk before this one showing how we can take advantage of the computing in the mobile edge. So I'd encourage you to go take a look at that one. So now, yeah, your 5G network is starting to look like your traditional kind of compute network. So again, much better experience because you're moving that compute closer to the end user. So you don't have to go up into the cloud and all the way back down into the user endpoints. So that's certainly the one of the anticipated improvements with 5G that we're going to get the experience. And then as you move down the chart, you know, of course we've been doing wearables for a while, and social networking is quite good. But you know, even things like remote health monitoring, remote surgery. I don't know if any of us want to go through that, but yeah, that you can have the bandwidth and the reliability with the network to do things like you know, having these remote services. And then finally, you know, on the industrial side as well, you don't need wired connections in different automation applications. And even, you know, many of us now are driving pretty smart cars. And so having that both vehicle to vehicle ability or vehicle to infrastructure, which again, I think many of us are starting to experience. I know my car connects to Wi-Fi when I pull in. And so having that directly connecting to the network wherever you are is going to give you know, much better experience overall. So you can see that this is just a sample. These applications are going to continue to grow and evolve with the network. So I just wanted to give you a sense of where we are in the rollout. So in 2022, there are, you know, 1 billion 5G connections. So if you're in a major city, you're probably going to see 5G. I know I don't even have 5G on my phone yet. I got to go upgrade that. But if if you go buy a phone now, it would be hard not to get a new smartphone. 69% of the smartphones are enabled with 5G. So most of the popular, you know, the new popular models, whether you're an iPhone fan or a Samsung fan, you know, the latest